that we are going to tell you about right now sounds so difficult that it is hard to believe it is even possible. How could anyone run 7 marathons on 7 different continents in 7 days? But San Francisco tech consultant Chris Edel is proof that it can be done. The World Marathon Challenge is an extreme feat of running back-to-back marathons on this whirlwind trip around the world. This is a big deal. It costs some $48,000 just to register for this. Chris had to save up for years to pull this off, not to mention train for hours and hours and hours on end, sometimes in the rain or in the dark, right here in San Francisco.
World Marathon Challenge 2025, 7 marathons, 7 continents, 7 days, Antarctica. Let's go!
You know when you start a round-the-world marathon session in Antarctica that it's going to be hard. Chris Edel and a few dozen racers packed into a Soviet-era plane to get to their first destination.
This plane didn't have any windows, and it was really janky inside. I mean, you almost were kind of wondering, like, is this plane actually could actually make it down there? But we ended up landing, and I just remember the moment that the doors opened and we stepped outside. The sun was so bright that we had to wear sunglasses because the sun reflecting off the snow.
This is the route for the World Marathon Challenge. Participants charter a flight. They start in Antarctica, stop in South Africa, Australia, Dubai, Madrid, Brazil, and end in Miami, each time running an entire marathon with very little downtime in between.
The hard part was managing nutrition, recovery, just getting from place to place. And over the course of the races, a number of racers got injured. So there were wheelchairs and various support staff and medics helping us.
Chris spent a year training, running on the streets of San Francisco as much as he could, all while juggling work and parenting a 2- and 6-year-old with the help of his very understanding wife.
I'd prepare for a 20-mile run. I'd be right out the door on mile 1, and I'd receive a call from daycare saying, hey, your son's sick, you need to pick him up. So times like that actually made it pretty challenging overall.
Chris said he didn't start out an elite athlete, and he isn't exactly the age you'd expect to be in your physical prime, but he was determined to do something big.
I was a marathon runner before, but I wasn't in any way an exceptional marathon runner. I think when I hit around age 45, I realized that time is ticking.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, off you go!
So when it came time, Chris ran and ran and ran some more. When all was said and done, he'd run over 183 miles in a week.
There was a feeling of just immense physical pain. But on top of that, there was this sense of almost peace where I realized that this experience may never happen again. So I almost felt like I was in a dream the last 3 miles running by myself towards the finish line.
Again, it is just so impossible to imagine that any human being could do this. Chris said his message is essentially, you could do whatever you tell yourself you could accomplish. In other words, mindset has a lot to do with his success.